Hey y'all, welcome to or welcome back to Dave's Tech Way, whichever way the situation may be. Hey, in today's video I got a new case to look at. We got the Cooler Master Masterbox Q300L. We're going to be taking a look at this case, see what it offers, and see if it's worth the $50 price tag or not. Let me get it reset up and I'll be right back. Alright guys, like I said in the intro today, we're going to be doing a quick overview or a quick look at this Masterbox Q300L that's made by Cooler Master. It's a micro ATX, so it'll fit micro ATX and mini ITX birds only. That's something to keep in mind. I got me a spec sheet here printed off. I'm going to start cheating a little bit because I don't feel like these case overviews or reviews has got enough information in them for you. Alright, let's say the first thing is the materials is steel and black. The dimensions is the length is 38, the height is 381, and the width is 230, which that's all in millimeter size. Like I said, the motherboard support is micro ATX and ITX, mini ITX. Expansion slots, it's got 4. It don't have no base for the 5 1/4 inch like your DVD drives and stuff like that. There's none of them involved. 3.5 inch drives like your normal hard drives and whatnot. It's got room for 1. 2.5 inch SSD drive base. It's got enough room for 2 of those. The I/O ports on the front is 2 USB 3s, the audio in and out. Pre-installed fans, none in the front. There's one 120 millimeter fan in the back. So if you want a positive airflow, you'll have to order another extra fan if you're going to order this case. Fan support for the front is either 120s or 140s, and it's room for 2 of them. Fan support on the top, it's got a room for 2 120 millimeters on top. Fan support for the bottom, which I don't know who would use that, but it does have support for a single 120 fan on the bottom. Radiator support, it's got room for either a 120 or a 240. CPU clearance cooler, which that actually matters. It's 159 millimeters. If you're going with a tower style cooler, you need to make sure it's under that 159 millimeter. It won't fit in the case. Your PSU clearance is 160 millimeters. So as long as your PSU is under that, you should be good. And the GFX, which is your GPU, is 360 millimeter clearance. You got cable routing behind the motherboard tray, says 28 millimeters. It says it does have a bottom dust filter, which I'll show you this so-called dust filter in a minute. Power supply support, bottom mounted ATX PSU. Alright, and that's what the spec says on the case. By looking at the front of it here, if you noticed, you don't have none of your ports on the front. You do have a removable dust filter for it, which is magnetized. But we'll have to see how that works out. On the top, you have another one of them magnetic dust filters and holes for your 120 millimeter fans. It's pretty well, the airflow in this case should be pretty good because it's pretty well all ventilated all the way around. It does have a plexiglass side panel on the side of it. There's one major reason why I wanted to look at this case and why I'm using this case. And if you read the specs, or if you go to Newegg or Amazon or something, you read about this case, or even Cooler Master's website, it says your front I/O can be changed to 6 different positions. You know, you don't have to keep it in the orientation they have it. That's why I ain't doing an unboxing on this case, because I wanted to check that out before I did this video. But boy, them things are a little tight. But anyways, just take out the 4 thumb screws and lift it off. That is acrylic, that ain't tempered glass. And it seems a little dark, it's got a little bit of a dark tint. But like I was saying, with the front I/O here's your front I/O. It's got your reset button, your microphone, headphone, power button, 2 USB 3s. They say you can put it in 6 different positions. which it's right there where it's at. You can put it up here at the top. You can put it back here on the side or on the bottom of the front panel. Now, any place you put this, you're going to have to put this acrylic side panel. The other three options you have to put that is on the back side, which it's good that you have that option, but keep in mind if you're going to put this on the back side of it, you're going to have to also put your side panel on the back side of it, which means you're going to be showing off your wire management instead of the ports on the inside of the case. So that don't make much sense to me why you'd want to put it on the back. Let's see here, inside the case, you get a baggie and some silica gel. Of course, take the wire tie out. Front panel connector should be pretty simple in this case. USB 3, your front audio, and then your power switch, your power LED, your reset switch, HHD LED, your power switch, and your power LED plus and negative. And like I said, it does come with a 120mm fan in the back of it here. As far as the hard drives, there is no hard drive cages in this case. By looking at it earlier, I believe the HHD goes into the back of it. That's why you only have room for one. That's why there's so much clearance in the back for your cable management. Looking at the bottom of it, like I said, here's their so-called removable dust filter. I am not a fan of this design. It looks like you had to pull out these little rubber feet to be able to remove that dust cover. I mean, you have to take the side panel off to get into there to be able to push the rubber feet out to be able to take it off to clean it. I don't like that. This is only about a $50 case, but still yet, they should have had a slide in from the back. I don't see where that would have cost them a whole lot of money to do that. But it is Cooler Master's their designs to their case. The back panel here, back of it, you have your 120mm fan. You got your IO port where your IO shield goes into. And you have 4 expansion bays. And again, for a $50 case, I really don't care for this. You have a panel you got to take off, and then these IO cover back plates, it's the kind that you snap off. They ain't replaceable. You know, for a $50 case, that should be, I mean, these cases that's got this, they're usually the cheaper brands, the cheaper models. I don't know why Cooler Master went with this. Maybe it's because of the price point of the case. But yeah, those are the kinds that snap out. So if you want to replace them, you'd have to order you some replacement back covers to be able to fill them back up. Here's your PSU hole, which is another thing I don't understand why they did it. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but there's actually a bracket in the back here on the inside of the case. The way you have to take this bracket out with these 4 screws, take the bracket out, mount it to your PSU, and then you put your PSU back into the case. I don't know why they came up with this design. I don't understand it, but that's the way they did it. The back side of it here, back panel, it's solid metal. It's also got little rubber feet. They say you can use it as a stand-up tire, or you can lay it down to save room on your desk. Which, I don't know, I guess it's your preference. It's how your setup is, depending on how you want to use it, the case. Which, if you do set it down on the side, your acrylic side panel is facing up where you can see the ports in it. So, yeah, not too bad. Let's take the side panel off here. I'll show you the hard drive and the SSD mounting system in it. Once you take off the 4 thumb screws, or the 4 screws that's holding it on, it's got them little rubber feet on it. You know, the side panel just lifts right off. Them's actually pretty tight from the factory. I had to use a screwdriver to loosen them up when I was actually looking at it. But here's your tray for your hard drive. You're putting a hard drive in it. You got 1 thumb screw, the plate pulls off, you screw your hard drive through it, put it back down, Here's your placements, 2 places for your SSDs, for your solid state drives. And with the way it's designed for the hard drive to be right here, it does give you quite a bit of room for cable management. It does look like it's going to be a pretty easy case to cable manage, which I'm going to do a build in this case. Of course, like always, I'll be back with my final thoughts. There is no front fans in this case. I did order white LEDs to go in this case, so I'll be placing that 120 on the back, along with putting 2 white LED fans in the front of it. But yeah, guys, let me get done with the build in this case, and I'll be back on my final thoughts and my final verdict if I think it's actually worth the money. I'll be right back. Alright, all. Now, since I did the build in this case, my conclusion on this case, let's start out with the wire management on this case. There is quite a bit of room. This is a non-modular power supply. There is quite a bit of room back here for cable management, so that's a plus, especially in a small form factor case like this. Which, if you're going to build in this case, I'd go with a modular or semi-modular power supply. That way you don't have all these cables here you'd have to tie up. Of course, I did them up the middle, because if you put them over here, you know, you're going to be able to see them from the front. If you watch the build video on this, I may leave it in the video, I don't know, but I had some problems with the front fan holes, where the front fans mount into it. The screw holes for the 120 mount holes was a little tight for the screws, so I literally had to take the screw and actually drill down through the metal with the screws to get them to go into the fans. They did go in there, and it ended up not being too bad. Like, see them recessed a little bit, because they ain't really recessed, but you ain't gonna see it once you get the dust filter on it. If you're looking for something that you need a lot of drives, of course this is a mini ITX, so you don't have a whole lot of room for storage. You got enough room for one hard drive and 2 solid state drives. Of course, nowadays with the way storage is, you know, you can get the bigger drives fairly cheap, so if that 1 terabyte ain't big enough for you, you can always switch out and get a bigger hard drive put in that slot. That their power supply mount bracket down here, the way they did that, I still don't understand why they did that. It ain't bad, but if you ever need to change out your power supply, you'll have to, you know, take out the screws, pull out the power supply, take the bracket off the power supply. It's an extra step that's unnecessary. I still don't like these brackets in the back to break away for your expansion slots. You know, them should be removable. Also on that, with this little plate back here, you have to put the plate on before you put the screws down through, because the plate won't sit flush with the screws underneath of it. I mean, it's alright. I mean, it does the job. I guess maybe they think that you ain't gonna have enough screws, which that is a problem that I ran across building this case. I don't know if it was just the way they packaged this mine, or if they do it with all these cases. But I did run a little bit short on screws, especially for the hard drive mounting, which I've got plenty of screws laying around. You know, I work on computers all the time. But, you know, that's something to take into consideration. Like I said, that may have been just a packing error on the company. But overall, for a micro ATX case, it ain't too bad of a case. For 50 bucks, you know, you got plenty of airflow. You do have the removable dust covers that's magnetized. I mean, the whole thing's pretty well mesh, pretty much, besides the back side panel. And of course, you got that front acrylic plastic panel for the front that ain't mesh. I don't like the way the filter is on the bottom of this case, but this one ain't too bad. You know, you got plenty of room for the wire management like I showed you. And it is all mesh, so airflow shouldn't be a problem. It does only come with the 120 fan in the back, so if you're going to be running a graphics card, I'd suggest picking up a couple for the front. But for $50, well, build in it again. Yeah, I'd probably build in this case again. I think it looks pretty good with the white LEDs in it. But yeah, I'd probably build in it again. It ain't too bad of a case for $50. I'd give it a thumbs up, and I'd recommend this case. I mean, for $50, you get what you pay for in this industry. But I hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give me a thumbs up. If you really liked it, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell. That way you know next time I put out a video. If you didn't like it, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs down button. Don't forget, guys, we got that comment section down there. Leave me a comment. Let me know what you think of me. If you think I'm completely off my rocker, or if you see something that you think I can improve my videos, or whatever you want to put down there. Put something down there. Just tell me hi, tell me bye. Tell me go get lost somewhere, whatever. It'll be alright, either way. But with that being said, you all have a good day, and hopefully you'll see me in my next video.